Good afternoon, everybody. So, as you will see later in the presentation, our project is very connected to the US, Europe, Olympians, and NOC and the NPC. And the ISTS did a very good job in connecting the three of us. Tony as Olympians, myself as I have the experience of my own NPC in Belgium, and Ashley coming from the US. So I think it was a good team. So we are going to start the presentation with the video of Ashley, and then we will present the following.
Hi everybody, I'm Ashley Wedley. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this presentation via video, since I'm currently in the United States. I'm going to start off by giving a brief introduction to the structure of this presentation. We're then going to look at the mission, objectives, and project scope, followed by the research methodologies we used in collecting and analyzing our data to come up with the implementation strategy for the World Fit Walk program in Europe. We're then going to look at the positioning of the World Fit Walk program in regards to strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Additionally, we're going to look at the structure and the stakeholders of the World Fit Walk program, followed by the recommendations that we would give World Fit when implementing this program in Europe. Then we're going to conclude with what's next. The mission of our project is to study the implementation strategies for the World Fit Walk program to successfully implement the program in Europe. In order to do this, we needed to evaluate the World Fit Walk's existing positioning. Additionally, we needed to look at the appropriate structure and what are the appropriate stakeholders for European implementation, as well as give recommendations that will help World Fit for its implementation in Europe. We selected 3 countries as an example. We created a selection criteria for the host country, as well as things to consider and a framework for European implementation. These things include political system, economic system, school system, prevalence of an Olympic committee, Paralympic committee, and Olympians Association, just to name a few. We then gave recommendations to World Fit in the areas of marketing and management. Unfortunately, the development of an entire marketing and operational plan is outside the general scope of our project. The World Fit Foundation is a foundation that was founded by former Olympic champion Gary Hall-Segan. The foundation promotes physical fitness and healthy lifestyles to children in schools through a sustainable school-based exercise initiative such as the World Fit Walk in order to help combat childhood obesity. It also provides students with Olympians and Paralympians as mentors and as a source of inspiration. These mentors help instill the Olympic values such as perseverance, respect, and fair play. World Fit encourages students to walk, socialize, and engage in healthy competition. The childhood obesity epidemic is not only growing in the United States, but worldwide. Today's kids are dropping out of sport and play earlier. Between the ages of 9 and 15, American and European kids' activity levels have dropped between 50 and 75%. In China, 92% of kids get no physical activity outside of school. These inactive kids are scoring up to 40% lower on achievement tests than their active peers. Designed to Move is an organization that's conducting research and education on this epidemic.
I probably would make a time machine. I would make medicine for the sick.
I'd probably invent something new.
我会赢到5个总冠军戒指。
If I could have an extra 5 years to live.
You said 5, right?
5 years. It's a long time.
I would try to fix everything I did bad.
I would bring my uncle back because I miss him very much.
I would get more hamsters.
I would probably want to go looking for dark matter.
I think I'd go looking for aliens.
If I could live an extra 5 years.
I was thinking about making like a helicopter, like a wooden helicopter, but I don't have any wood.
I want to check out the world sometime.
I'd probably teach my sister not to hate Gina.
I would try and invent a machine that lets you run at light speed.
If I had 5 more extra years to live.
I would be the boss of all the chipmunks.
Eu cantaria na frente de 1 milhão de pessoas.
I don't really know. I think I'd do anything. Why are you asking me that?
The research being done by Design to Move has shown a link between obesity and physical activity. They have shown that physically inactive children are 2 times as likely to become obese as adults. Also, preschoolers with inactive parents are far less likely to become active themselves. This trend is seen from early childhood into adolescence and adulthood. It is seen through lower test scores, 1 week of extra vacation sick days a year, as well as 5.3 million premature deaths due to inactivity. On the flip side, physically active children are shown to live up to 5 years longer. Also, active parents are associated with active children. This is also seen throughout the lifespan. Through 40% higher test scores, 50% more of these children are going to college, as well as there's a reduced risk of multiple diseases. This is why programs like the World Fit Foundation and the World Fit Walk are essential to keep and implement in our schools in order to get children moving and active as early as possible. Our research methodologies have included a literature search. We started out by researching obesity worldwide and then in Europe, as well as the link between inactivity and obesity. We've also done explorations and analyses. We've done interviews with experts from the IOC, from the Belgian Paralympic School Project, from AISTS, and World Fit. We've also relied on course materials from strategic management, as well as from our medicine module. In addition, we've relied on studying the existing documentation provided by World Fit, as well as done our own SWOT analyses and collective brainstorming.
Well, as mentioned in our introduction, one of our main objectives was the detailed evaluation of the World Fit Walk. In order to do so, we did a SWOT analysis, meaning that we took a closer look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of the currently existing program. Starting with the strengths, the involvement of Olympians as role models is unique compared to other existing programs worldwide. It gives children the opportunity to follow their idols and to follow a good example. The program promotes physical fitness and healthy lifestyle with the Olympic values as guidelines, values such as respect, excellence, and friendship. And we have the opinion that those values are more and more neglected in our society, and they're definitely worth being pursued. Walking is a non-discrimination exercise for better health. No other physical activity can give what walking can give. Nothing is as simple. Everybody can do it. It's affordable and accessible to everybody. No special skills are required. No special equipment is required. And from an overall point of view, we think that no other physical activity has these advantages while still in competition for kids. Last but not least, the program is at no cost for the schools, which makes implementation for schools really easy. To the weaknesses, social media use from the side of World Fit is still really weak. Doesn't meet the requirements of the younger generation of today. It's not interactive and exciting enough. The operational structure is definitely a weakness. For example, the CAO of the company, as stated in the strategic plan, would be responsible for legal affairs, financial affairs, all IT activities, as well as marketing activities. This is just too many highly important To finish up with the weaknesses, WorldFit has a very limited brand awareness, and this is closely linked to the lack of partnerships with international companies. The opportunities, well, obesity, as we heard, is a growing epidemic worldwide. National public health stakeholders have identified regular exercise as highly important for physical health, a healthy weight and a healthy lifestyle. And the consciousness about the need of healthcare programs in Europe is really big, which shows us overall that the need of such programs is definitely there, and it gives us a big opportunity to enter the market. Further, there's a big disregard of sport, of PE classes in the school curriculums. Sport hours are cut more and more, and even the European Commission states that quality of PE classes in schools, as well as the quality of teachers, isn't where it should be. WorldFit is a member of Ecole International Network. It's the world's largest obesity prevention network and shares best practices, experience, and knowledge. To the threats, well, we are a school-based program. That means that we are really dependent on the will of the school system, the educational systems regarding the implementation of our program. So, yeah, it doesn't make it easier. The communication is weak of the program, which obviously leads to a limited brand awareness, and yeah. In the strategic plan that we revised from the WorldFit Foundation, we read that the foundation is relying strongly on the founders network as well as the IOC, which in our eyes is a really big risk for such a big, or for a growing foundation and a professional organization such as WorldFit. And national and international competition might make it harder as well to enter the market, as there's plenty of already working existing programs that work well.
So now we are going to tell you what would be the best structure and the best stakeholders. But for that, we have to explain how we found a solution. So as we explained already on the right, we studied the WorldFit Foundation, the evaluation of WorldFit USA, and we did a SWOT analysis. But as everybody knows, there is a huge complexity in Europe, 20 member states, 24 different languages. The political system, the economy is very different in each country. So we had to find a solution for WorldFit if one day want to be implemented in Europe. We decided to choose 3 countries. So Ireland, England, and Belgium. I'm going to explain a little bit, but it's more in details in the report. So the first thing, the obesity is huge in those 3 countries. So there is an awareness of the government. Ireland, the PE classes in Ireland are just very low. They don't have many hours per week, so they have to change that. They are also very open to school projects, so that's also very interesting because, for example, in Germany, we know it's very difficult to suggest a school project, so Ireland is good for that. England, we can count of the legacy from London 2012. The government gave more than £1 million for the education and for the healthcare, and it's a country who speaks English. And also they have already school programs, and not exactly the same, so that's a good point, but there is a little bit of competition. But what is really good is that those programs started in England and then are spread in the UK. So it would be a good way for an implementation to start in England and then to spread in all the other countries. And Belgium, they don't speak English, but the fact that they speak 3 different languages, sometimes the last solution is to speak English, so it won't be a huge problem to start an implementation in Belgium. And we chose this country because we know there is a Paralympic school program that exists, and that they are now in several schools, so now it's possible. And yeah, they count on the NOC and the NBC of the country, so it's good to have Belgium as example. So, for the appropriate structure, we decided to count on the Angelo tool. The Angelo tool comes from a document from the WHO, the World Health Organization, and it's to implement programs to fight against childhood obesity. It's a really good tool because they make a deep analysis on the. It's to explain where and how to implement the program, and it's to make a study with interviews, so real situations, also literature. It's more than 80 pages, so in one slide it's difficult to explain. But what is very interesting is they study the microenvironment, macroenvironment, and then they study different types of environment, physical, economic, policy, and social cultural. And it's not only research, they really set all the steps from the beginning until the end to make a real action plan. So it's a good way for WorldFit if they want really to get implemented in Europe. The appropriate stakeholders, on the right, it's the partners from the US. We did an analysis from Ireland, England, and Belgium. We studied all the school programs that are already existing, and we searched for the stakeholders. And as a summary, Gary has to count on the private sector, the parents, the National Parents Council, the government, civil society and non-governmental organization, NOC, NPC, and international and regional organization.
Well, now to our recommendations. Based on the analysis that we did, we came to several recommendations concerning the marketing and management side of the foundation. Starting with an incentive solution through clubs and various sports outlets. We think that having a competition format such as the WorldFit Walk is a good idea. It motivates children, and that's what children are striving for. But nevertheless, we think that a competition format without any incentive involved isn't enough for children. And that's why we really want to reward the children for their performances. Well, the idea behind that is, or behind the incentive solution is that walking isn't really the typical activity of a child, and most probably won't be considered even continuing after the WorldFit Walk is over. So we want to create a program that is sustainable, and in order to do so, we would like to cooperate with a pool of local and regional clubs that offer prizes to the best class, or maybe the three best classes of the school, which gives the opportunity to present the sport and to get the children into the sport. We suggest a multi-country partnership to enlarge the competition, to enlarge the awareness of the program. We also recommend a multilingual social media use where all spoken languages inside the program are being represented, and to increase the interactivity. We think that a collaboration with international federations could be useful in order to use their network and their power, their influential power, to enlarge the project. We would like to have international school partnerships to get away from the only physical part, but also give the possibility to maybe have language exchange programs and so on. And last but not least, the international conferences for better knowledge and transfer. On the management part, we would suggest an internship program that uses skilled staff, but cheap skilled staff to further the program, and then the Angelo tool, which Geraldine just introduced.
And now we would like to give a suggestion from what next. So not really in the reality, because the reality is the recommendations, but more in the academic way. If Gary wants to go deeper in research, we suggest to set a solid marketing strategy, write a good marketing plan, establish a strategy plan for Europe, and make a feasibility study report.